Hello, my name is Jaliane. What the heck is that? 11 horror stories. No, I don't like that. I don't trust any of this. Oh god, that intro is it's gonna be a mess, but I'm trying for it not to be. It's just going to be a mess, I guess. 11 horror stories. 11 haunted locations. Part 1. Let's get started. Hello, my name is Jaliane, and today we will be doing 11 horror stories slash haunted locations. I will be doing 1 through 5, and the next time we will be doing 6 through 11. So this is part 1. Let's get right down to it. Or let's get to it. But before that, a little intro. Super scary ghost stories aren't for everyone. Even people who get a thrill from Halloween movies and love to curl up with frightening books about witches or vampires will get some goosebumps from these creepy tales. You may even live near one of the haunted places that inspired these stories. After all, they're set all over the country, and after reading through this roundup, you might be inspired to visit one of the spooky ghost towns talked about here. I sure am not. If you live on the East Coast, you'll be especially inspired in the Crying Lady in the Dakota, a famous apartment building located in New York City. John Lennon himself claims he saw the ghost roaming the halls of his residence. For those living in the southern part of the United States, there are a handful of stories that originated there. Huggin Molly, a haunted figure in Abbeville, Alabama, reportedly chasing and embraces people around the town. No thank you. What? In Eureka Springs, Arkansas, there's a property called the Crescent Hotel that's allegedly haunted by a number of ghosts. We likely won't be booking our stay there anytime soon, neither will I. And in St. Francisville, Louisiana, a ghost named Chloe apparently haunts Myrtle's plantation to this very day. Now, let's get right into 1 through 5. Number 1, Sloss Furnaces, Birmingham, Alabama. And I'll put a picture up of this Sloss furnace so you could see what it looks like and all that good stuff. Let's get into the reading portion. And by let's get into it, I mean me reading it to you. Okay. Birmingham, Alabama was founded in 1871, 5 years after the Civil War, and with it, the need for tons of pig iron to fix America's crumbling infrastructure. To satisfy the demand, Colonel James Withers Sloss started construction on Sloss furnaces. Is that colonel or colonial? Colonial? The word is colonel. When I see the word, my brain usually gets confused and just says how it looks. So that's the reason why I pronounced it like that. So I'm very sorry about that. A year later, the company opened its doors to hundreds of employees. According to its official website, working on blast furnaces was an advanced job, and it was also dangerous. That danger was soon realized as many workers started being incinerated in the furnaces and falling to their deaths. Conditions only worsened in the early 1900s after a cruel foreman, James Slag Wormwood, took a job at Sloss. According to Reader's Digest, Wormwood took dangerous risks in order to increase production. As a result, nearly 50 employees died on site, and many were involved in terrible accidents during his tenure. Allegedly, in retaliation, his workers tossed him into the furnace in 1906. Allegedly, if you look up what that means, you'll understand what really happened here. Okay. Allegedly, used to convey that something is claimed to be the case or have taken place, although there is no proof. He was allegedly a leading participant in the coup attempt. You can still tour the grounds today if you dare. While there, you might just hear the voice of Slag telling his employees to get back to work, along with other paranormal occurrences. Sloss even hosts a fright night every year around Halloween that's based heavily on the Slag story. Yeah, with his ghost telling people to get back to work. I think you understand what allegedly means. Yeah, I think you got it. Number 2, the crying lady in the Dakota. In the Dakota. Dakota. The crying lady in the Dakota. New York, New York. The Dakota. Dakota. The Dakota, an apartment building in New York City, has been home to many rich and famous residents since it opened back in 1884. John Lennon, okay, John, and Yoko Ono. Oh no, girl. John Lennon and Yoko Ono moved into the building in 1973, and John was also assassinated outside the structure on December 8th, 1980. I'm having a moment here. Before his death, John claimed he saw a crying lady ghost roaming the halls. Then, after John died, Yoko, who still lives in the building, said she witnessed John's ghost sitting at his piano. Yoko says John told her, "Don't be afraid. I am still with you." My thing is, since he died and was assassinated, like, I would be afraid completely. I wouldn't even be able to live there. Like, Yoko is brave. Number 3, The Bell Witch, Adams, Tennessee. If you're a scary movie lover, I am, you might actually know about The Bell Witch. I do not. The films An American Haunting and The Blair Witch Project are both based on the story. Way back in the early 1800s, a man named John Bell, there is a lot of Johns in here, moved his family to an area in Tennessee called Red River, which is now known as Adams, Tennessee. After they had settled in the new home, some peculiar things started happening. The Bell family began hearing some bizarre noises, including dogs barking, chains rattling, rats chewing, and a woman whispering. Soon, that woman became known as the Bell Witch, and many people believe she's the ghost of a former neighbor of the Bells, Kate Batts. Batts and the Bells had a dispute over land, and she had sworn vengeance on the Bell family before she died. Later on, Bell died from poisoning, and it's rumored to be the work of the Bell Witch. Wow. Number 4, The Ghosts of the Crescent Hotel, Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Spend the night in the haunted Crescent Hotel, no thank you, in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, which opened in 1886. During construction, a worker named Michael was killed. Well, at least it's not John, but still, this is terrible. And his ghost reportedly still haunts room 218. It could stay there. I'm not going to be there. Thank you. The hotel came under the ownership of known medical fraud Norman Baker in 1937. Medical fraud is what I'm holding on to here. Okay, that really stood out. Who fancied himself a doctor. He turned the hotel into the Baker Cancer Hospital, claiming to have the cure for the disease. He did not, obviously. Patients who died under his care were buried right in the hotel's basement, which served as a makeshift morgue. He was arrested in 1940, but his patients' spirits are said to still remain. Because the hotel is still open, guests often say they see apparitions and hear noises during their stays. Sci-Fi's Ghost Hunters even has footage of something moving in the basement. It could honestly stay there because I am not about to be a part of that. Number 5. Huggin Molly, Abbeville, Alabama. It's best to stay home when the sun sets in Abbeville, Alabama. If you want to avoid Huggin Molly's chilly embrace. As the legend goes, beginning in the early 1900s, an oversized figure clad in all black began roaming the streets at night looking for unsuspecting Vicks. Once she fixates on someone, she hugs the person and screams loudly into their ears. Many people have recounted stories of being chased by what they believe was Huggin Molly. Local parents have even taken advantage of the story to keep their children in line. Don't all parents do this? They always latch on to some scary thing and just use that. Like it's really something. The town embraces its nighttime warden proudly, calling itself the home of Huggin Molly. There's even a family-friendly restaurant named after her. And this was part 1 of 2 parts. I'll see you with the next part in a little bit. And with that said, don't be too problematic. Be as polite as possible. I'll bite you next time.